good. Lighting could be a little bit better, but
We're pretty good.
okay.
We are in the building.
We are rolling. Small Willies and big egos. Go on. Hang on, start again. That was fucked. Fuck it. We're going to leave that there anyway. Welcome back to Small Willies and Big Egos.
Yep. And I'm going to hold my tongue and not say what episode it is. Welcome back.
It's episode something.
I'm going to... How are you?
Really good. Yeah. I'm flowing. Yeah, I think just quickly talking about like different podcast locations, and we're mixing it up each week. And I think I'm really excited to move in with Kristen and find a space that's going to hold this energy and flow, so that we can come here and just like land in the artistry and the openness to what we are here to offer, instead of me having to figure out how I can make this look the way I want it to look, because I'm quite particular with the way things look. Even though you're only listening to us right now, I still want it to look good.
I feel if you the listeners could see now, like even if you're listening to me, the setup we have, what you're actually seeing is my lounge room, our lounge room, with obviously Jake and I sitting on the couch, but there's a coffee table in front of us with a road thing. There's windows just behind us, and these beautiful artworks are from all off the walls around the house, and then the big TVs in the background, and the kitchen's just over on the side. So
totally.
It's pretty cool to think that that when people are listening, they're going to be sitting there going, I'm really invested in the content and the depth of our conversations. And then sometimes I look over and see someone just filling up some water from the fridge.
Yeah.
So
I think that's the humanness of this experience as well, you know. It doesn't always need to be perfect. But what was annoying me was the light reflecting off the window, and then I got the artwork up, and then that had glass in it, and realised that was reflecting off the window as well. And I was like, oh, fuck it, whatever. Let's go. So
if you're watching this episode, we have 3 pretty prolific people behind us, in Michael Jordan, Mac Miller, and ASAP Rocky. I thought, like, what's dropping in for me now is, Jacob, tell us a little bit about the connection to Mac Miller for you.
Yeah, I think it's one of the artists. I feel like music is like this, but it was just one of those artists where I could just really feel his words and feel, I don't know, part of the torture, also part of the happiness, the joy, but yeah, just the underlying current of, sadness. I just really felt the way he used to express, and it was just really sad. You know, I just love his words. Some and his flow. Obviously, it's just the way he moves and transitions through lyrics and rhymes. It's just it's really beautiful, and it's just a beautiful soul. And we lost him way too early.
Definitely. He from just interviews and stuff I'd listened to, everyone, or a lot of the artists I listened to, had always spoken just so highly of him as a human and as an artist, but also just his production skills and his depth and knowledge, and ability to formulate his lyrics. And he's worked with he did a lot of work with Rick Rubin, I'm pretty sure, as well. He did a fair bit of stuff with Rick Rubin, which is totally like so cool. He's a very special man, and he would have had it pretty hard. Like, he was obviously, there was the kind of polarity of his life, of him sort of rolling up and down in and out of obviously doing quite well, and then he sort of slumped to a low, and then unfortunately we lost him to drugs. And it's sort of a good segue today around the hardness of life and change, and something that I wanted to just start on. We'll start on and delve into today. For the listeners, if you're sitting there now and you're thinking like, to do that next thing is going to be really, really hard. The topic that I wanted to delve into today is change. Change is hard, and doing hard things my first question for you today, Jacob, is does doing hard things, does it help you change in life? Do you think it's important to do hard things?
Yeah, the way I was going to answer that yesterday to now, the way that it's landed for me, that question, because lots of people do hard things and don't change, are living a hard lifestyle and don't change. So the nuance to that question is, like the challenges, the things that we set to initiate ourselves into growth potentially could be the way that is formulated, that question. Can you ask it again?
Yeah. So do you think it's important to do hard things like that challenge you in life? That's the first part.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if there's a conscious awareness around why, I think always challenging yourself with difficult things. Yeah, not just for the sake of doing it or for the sake of validation or the sake of being seen in certain ways. It's like, what's the underlying reason to determine why you want to do that and why you want to push and why you want to dedicate just so much time to something. If it's so challenging, what's the outcome? What's the purpose? What's the intention behind that? However, I really believe that. Do I? Yeah, I'd like to ask you what your relationship to that is with hard. Yeah, because I would like some information from you on that, because I think we have different views maybe, and the way that I'm operating through life at the moment doesn't feel super hard. And
I think definitely my old programming was around, especially with everything in my life, was around like it. If I'm not working really hard, like if I'm not slogging my guts out at work, so I was working in very low socioeconomic schools with a lot of kids that needed a lot of support, a lot of staff that need a lot of support, and I turned into that, like I definitely was in that nice guy role of just trying to please everyone and doing things that were hard. So I'd be at every lunch break, I'd be out on the oval with the kids, and I'd be working extra hours, and then I'd be helping the principal, and then I'd be training really, really hard beyond what anything measurable in most people's lives. And then that would sort of flow into my relationships being hard. And that was almost a belief that it wasn't almost, it was a belief that I'd sort of formulated around that I wanted there to be challenges in my life all the time. Like if there wasn't a challenge, then I didn't believe that it was like that life wasn't what, it wasn't kind of fun.
That wasn't beneficial for you though.
No, it wasn't at all.
Yeah. So you weren't actually getting change through the hardness. You were just living the hardness, you know?
100%.
So I think like hard challenges for initiation, yes. But just living, if we're talking about change, because we're talking about change. We're talking about change, not just living a hard lifestyle. I think, you had to go through a hard time to change.
Yeah.
But I think if you're talking about now future initiations and moving forward and things that drive you to succeed, it's a different context, you know.
Definitely.
And I think that's what you're sort of working towards now. Is like, obviously you've just done the Blackhall 50K last week. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you know, it's brought up a lot of things. Like it's, I think the time when we can really challenge ourselves like that, we start to really question everything. And you know, you started to question whether you're even capable of doing it, capable of doing it at the time, capable of, you know, and then looking forward to now the 100K. It's like, cool, what's the intention there? And you know, there's been so much that's come up for you. There's so much beauty, so much like a proudness from how you've, you know, worked through this race differently to how you have in the past. And I think the easefulness of those challenges are getting softer because your ability to understand your why is deeper.
Definitely.
You know?
I like that.
So I don't necessarily think what I'm reading there is change is hard.
Yep.
I don't conform to that. But I also believe that you need to have hard times and do hard things to change or become more aware.
Yeah.
But I don't think it always has to be that way.
Yeah. I like that. Ned, last night we were looking into having a discussion around Ned Brockman more recently and his feat, the 1,000 miles in 12 days. And we spoke a little bit about these big challenges that people seem to be to be doing at the moment, and the pedestaling and sort of kind of in some ways allowing, I think your words are along the lines of that we think that they're superhumans, but they're actually just normal like most people, or they don't have superpowers or anything.
I think they're normal in the sense of like body capabilities and all. We all have at different times the same fucking ability to do something, but what makes someone super special is their ability to do it. You know, I could try and run 1,000 miles in 12 days. I may succeed, I may not. But what, again, this is the measurement of success, is we were talking about this last night, is like Ned Brockman's body's fucked.
Yeah.
So I could potentially do it and have a fucked body and not be able to walk and have to have surgeries and be put out for a year. But again, it's also really beautiful what he's done. And like, you know, he can die a man that's been like, well, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. But again, what's the... I feel like it's really interesting to like these people to have to do these extreme things to raise money for things.
Yeah.
It's like for foundations or whatever. It's like we have to make people just fucking kill themselves to be granted $2 million worth of charity. Like, why?
And I said to you around that, it's really interesting that, and I want to touch on this more when I learn more about it. But the word awe, as in like AWE, and we started to talk about it a bit last night, but the way in which it's almost, and I'm only paraphrasing at the moment because I can't remember it exactly, but it's along the lines of that scientifically we are, or the chemical makeups in the human body, we almost yearn to have some sort of awe, like be in awe of something or someone. It makes us feel like that we can almost get on with another day. It's that little like dopamine hit of like when I see it, I get it when I see Ned Brockman. I think straight away, I'm like, I rewatch his video and I think, I can't wait to go to a place in the 100K where I have to dig a little bit deeper than what I normally do, and will have to, you know, it's a lot longer than a 50K. So it gives me that little bit of feeling like, oh, that I have some awe for him. I don't want to end up, you know, completely broken like that. But yeah, there's that sense of, it's like a deeper feeling of like, oh, wow, you know, I feel like if he can do it, then I can do some really big things as well in my life. And it's only one aspect, you know. It's something, running something that I really love, but you know, like I'm in awe of the way in which you can regulate yourself, you know, and your ability to sit there and take a deep breath and stop and be slow. And it's a practice that I've started today at a couple of moments today. And, you know, I'm in awe of the relationship that you have with your partner.
To be wife.
But all these little things, I think that those moments, those feelings, they're those, it's like, I don't like the word nice, you know, but they're the nice feelings that come in, and I kind of go, oh, that's really cool. And I really like that. And you have that little sort of moment inside where it's almost like a little bit of that moment is beginning to manifest, or thinking of like, oh, that's what I want. I'm gonna mentally log that and take that with me.
Yeah. Or a feeling of reverential respect mixed with fear or wonder. It's an interesting word.
Yeah.
'Cause it's a reverence.
Yeah.
You know, something important. The feeling of reverence around something.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, and yeah, it's always captivating, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think we talked. I can't remember the book that I read, but it was just talking. We talked yesterday, and I think it's cool around, you know, as human beings, we like to see people do really good things, but when we do see them do that, we make it that they have more talent or more capacity or more ability to do those things, so that we can't own the fact that we can actually do those things too. And we put it down to them having special talents, instead of being like, no, they actually just really worked extremely hard for the thing that they wanted, and they went for it and they did it. And a lot of people aren't willing to do the work. You know, there's still things that I want to accomplish in my life, and I can see the places and where I need to work harder.
Mm.
I need to give more. I need to be. I need. No. I need to do those things if I want those things.
Mm.
Let's just reframe it like that.
Yep.
Yeah, I fucking need to do more work in certain areas to accomplish the goals that I want. I can't just sit back and hope. And that's going to be a big part of the next year is really leaning into those places. I almost just hate the fact that I just said, well, next year, you know, I'm leaning into it now.
Yep.
I'm doing the things now, and I'm sacrificing time for money at the moment. And yeah, it's going to bring me other opportunities, you know, so.
Yep. What's alive for me, definitely in my thoughts at the moment is, so we started off talking about, you know, choosing something that is going to be a bit more difficult in our lives, or it's going to be a little bit more challenging because that thing is going to allow us to be better, right? Or to grow. Now, one thing that I definitely would love you to share with the listeners is around when we choose that thing, making it, I feel like it's got to be reasonable. We've got to be succinct in what we want to achieve to start, or the boundaries that we're going to put in place to get there. I'd love to touch on at the moment something that was definitely alive for us last night, but has been a journey for you is food. Okay, so can you share a little light with the listeners on just the journey for you over the last year with the way and like how what's sort of evolved and changed for you with food, and also like how that's changed and how it's also been difficult for you at times as well.
Yeah, it all stems back to like mum, really, in childhood, and the way that we used to relate or connect through food, and wasn't necessarily the best food, and like I said, eating condensed milk in the bed with mum, and as much as those are beautiful memories, they didn't really instill me with great eating habits. Then when losing mum, those eating habits and those comfort foods were ways for me to connect back in with her, you know. So I didn't realize that for such a long period of time, that I would eat, you know, and continue to eat like that for a long time. And yeah, I've just really battled with food really until I went vegan. Once I went vegan, I was like, oh, cool, I have something that I can align myself with and be like, cool, I can do this. This makes sense. And then also realizing how I'd contoured everything around to suit the vegan as well. You know, I dropped a lot of the sweets, but then I just consumed all the other things that I could. So it was the fake meats or the fake soys and the fake ice cream and all the other things that I thought were better for me, but I didn't really realize that they weren't very good for me. And so I thought I was doing the right thing again, and then realizing that my body was really just starting to be denourished. And yeah, it's really been only the last year where I've, you know, had Maya in my life and now Kristen and different people that have just reflected different, like Ayurvedic medicine and Chinese medicine, and how the body actually operates with food and seasons and seasonal food, and simplistically put how easy it is to eat this way once you actually realize that you stop all the processed food, stop all the sauces, stop all the fucking shitty preservatives that go in everything that comes in a packet. And for me, over the last sort of few months, I've gone, well, it's not even a few months, it's been the last couple of weeks really, fully organic, you know, and I'm still teetering on working through that. So like if we go out for dinner or something like that, and, you know, living with the guys at the moment, we've had some stuff around like you guys not being fully completely organic, and if maybe the meat's not grass fed or whatever, and finding myself teetering on like, oh, well, I'll eat when they cook, or and then I just became a hard no again. Like, no, this is actually something that I need to really, I want to stick to. And again, it feels like I've similarly gone vegan again, because I'm like, cool, I have a pathway, and I can really feel my body when it's operating better. You know, when I ate cow's dinner the other night, I don't know if it was that, but it made me feel shit. Whatever was in it didn't align with my body. And I was like, oh, wow, I can really feel that. I can really feel how my bowel movements were a lot worse. And I was just like, oh, wow. So yeah, food's been a journey, and I'm liking the simplicity of being organic now, and just really sticking to that. And that just transitions into everything, you know, whether it's skin products, house cleaning, like everything natural. Because I was just realizing how bad it is for you, you know, and we're just not educated on it at all. And even like Kristen said the other night, we can talk about nutritionists, we can talk about PTs, we can talk, just fucking eat whole foods, organic,
Yeah.
and you can't really go wrong. And seasonal. And it's like, oh wow, that's fucking easy.
Yeah.
We're trying to talk about like carnivore, we're trying to keto or whatever. It's like it's all bullshit, really.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just went to Chemist Warehouse because I had to get something for an ulcer in my mouth. I've been doing the natural thing for a few days, but I'm like, they're actually quite sore, and I was like, I just need to get something for it. And just trying to get some natural toothpaste there.
Yeah.
I was like, there is none.
Yeah.
What's going on here? I mean, yeah, we're brainwashed to just follow the convenience of life, you know, and this is the thing. It's like it's convenient, it's more cheap. And I get it. I get that not all families can eat organic when you've got 3 kids and one parent's working, but it's like, what else could you sacrifice to eat healthy? And could you grow this stuff at home? You know, could you implement different changes? And it's like, realistically, it's not that much more expensive. It's not. I feel like I'm less hungry because I'm eating better food.
Yeah.
And so I'm not spending as much money. Like I spent a lot of money last week on topping up on all the shit that I don't have. And yeah, some things are going to be more pricey, but you're getting bone broths and all those sort of things. Bone broth's $50.
Yep.
So well, could we just make our own? How much cheaper would that be?
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's convenience again. And sometimes being healthy, it's like, well, it's $20 more than what it would cost if I made it, but it's convenient, so it's okay. You know? We're not perfect in all these fucking areas.
Yep.
But I just think the intention to, you know, it's been interesting conversations for all of us in the house around how we transition through this and the expectations that we're subconsciously putting on each other for no reason.
Let's not say we.
Yeah.
Can you say you? So yeah, I was going to say that you said it in your last couple of sentences. You spoke about that life set up for convenience, and I really want to open this up, like, for the listeners around the part for me is the first bit that dropped in for me was around when identity. Okay, so it's like when you're a vegan, did you feel that there was an identity attached to that as well?
Not so much.
Yeah.
No, I didn't really care.
Yeah.
Like, and I wasn't one of the people that were just advocating like everyone should do this again. Similar to like you and me in the house about the organics. I was like, all my partners at the time were meat eaters.
Yeah. Okay,
all of them.
Yeah.
I'd never had a vegan partner. They very much contoured their life because they were like, oh, this is more natural. Oh, this is more vegetables. Oh, this is better.
Yeah.
And then they would sometimes eat fake meats or whatever, but a lot of the time they would just have meat with their food, and I would make the salad or whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
great.
And it was like, it wasn't like, well, I'm going to tell you that I don't love you because you don't have the same value with me.
Yeah.
And it's like I could also see past. Well, I must have been able to see past the fact that this was just a time in my life.
Yeah.
It wasn't a like, hey, this is a hard no for me.
Yeah.
I was experimenting. I
Yeah.
was learning. You
Yeah.
know, I was trying something different. So I wasn't going to cull people out of my life like some people do.
Yeah.
Oh, your values don't align. Well, cool. That's okay as well to not have values that align.
Yeah.
But I guess for me that there wasn't a depth there around like a hard no. So I guess it wasn't the thing that I was always going to do.
Yep.
You know, it's like
Yep.
having children. Like, I want children. So if you don't want children, that's like, it's maybe not going to work.
Yep.
You know? So being clear on that.
Great. The other piece for the listeners is Jacob and I are always talking about, or we're inviting the listeners to speak their truths.
Just about.
And like happy to open share and have an honest conversation around what did occur last night between us. And Jacob sort of highlighted on the night before around him, Cal had cooked a beautiful meal for us. We'd had men's circle, and one of the things in there, I'll let you share the story, like around the pork and you not wanting to eat it and probably not speaking the first part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just, I put this commitment to myself. I was like, I'm going fully organic. I don't want to eat pork because I don't really find it attractive to the body and what's in it and where it's, you know, I just don't want that. And we got home and Cal had served up the meal and he hadn't put the pork in, hadn't put things in. And I thought about the pork, and then as I went to the toilet, and I came back, I was like, oh, I should say something about the pork. Like, just don't give me the pork. And I came back and he'd put all the pork in all the food, and I was like, oh, fuck it. All right, I'll just eat that. And I don't know, I nearly threw up a little bit near the end. I was like, oh, I don't know. I was telling myself that I'd eaten too fast, but I was actually like, no, I think my body's like, what are you doing? You know? And then I woke up in the morning and had ulcers in my mouth. Again, I'm not relating any of this to the food. This is just could be coincidental, whatever. It's about me having a truth the night before, me not wanting to eat certain things, me not asking Cal what curry paste he used, what fucking cream he used, all the things that are important to me, with the expectation that I think he would have contoured stuff around because of what I'd talked about. But I was just like, oh, I'm just going to go with it. Woke up the next morning, my bowel movements were shit. I had ulcers in my mouth. I felt really lethargic. And I was like, oh, you didn't honor yourself yesterday. Didn't do the thing that you said you were going to do. And I was like, I shouldn't have had that dinner. I should have been like, hey, bro, what's in this? Cool. Yep, that's okay. Don't give me the pork. I can have the mushrooms and the bok choy. And I'm good.
Yep.
But I didn't do that. And then I got the consequences for it the next day. And they're only small consequences, but I'm so now aware of them. I'm like, yeah, just that little truth of not being spoken made my whole body feel shit the next day.
Yeah. And
then we had to talk about it, you know?
And I would liken that to, like, for me at the moment is that we're speaking about doing some harder things and some uncomfortable things. It starts with having a harder conversation. And from my perspective, I am working significantly hard at the moment on not being a nice guy and not being a people pleaser. And so if listeners are out there and you know you're in that position with your partner and they've cooked this really amazing meal and maybe you're trying to lose some weight or something's going on in your life and you're sitting there and you say, you know, thank you so much, but inside something's online for you. You know, I invite you to in that moment say, like, something you might like to say is, you know, like, I really appreciate this meal you cooked for me. You know, if you haven't had the conversation because you're trying to lose weight, then maybe in that moment you say to them, I'm really trying to lose weight at the moment, and I'd love if we could work on changing together, or just anything, because this stems on to then me, was I'd build up a story in my head that I was going to let Jacob down if I didn't eat completely organic, and because I'd set parameters for me around just starting off with no sauce and cleaning products.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm 2 weeks sober on no sauce, because 2 weeks before I remember I had a conversation with my brother Dom, and I'm like, I'm a sauce guy.
Yeah.
I'm a sauce and relish guy. Like, and I was saying it because Jacob will love this too. I speak a lot faster when my brain's going really fast. And I noticed that I used to, when I'd say it to Dom, I can actually track now. I used to sit up. I'm like, I'm a sauce and relish guy, because it meant that I didn't want to do it anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I had these really big wins, but then inside I'm like, I'm not winning anymore because Jacob's not going to like me, and I'm going to let him down. And all these to the listeners, and I'm actually really passionate about this right now, because we have built a beautiful friendship and a relationship, right? Yeah. In which you are so strong in yourself, and I'm becoming so much stronger in myself. And Jacob's words to me last night were, you can do anything, obviously nearly anything, but within reason, and I'm going to fucking sit here. I'm here for you. And I'm not going to go down all the abandonment line and things like that, but just those words, knowing that I can fuck up. And a lot of time it's
not a fuck up.
You're not a fuck up. And it's also not knowing, because it's coming from subconscious. So my point is, this is in a roundabout way, is I really want everyone out there to please try and speak those things to them. And the big bit, as I said at the start, is if you set yourself any sort of goal, you have to put the parameters in. You have to let everyone around you know those parameters. So for me at the moment is, we're getting all natural cleaning products in the house, which I'm super excited about, because I want to learn, because I'm a nutter at cleaning. Yeah. And I actually really want that, because I want that for my skin. I want that for my dogs, and I want that for the house. Yeah. And then for me it is, it's getting rid of the sauces. And I felt amazing, like a completely different again, and feel proud as well, because I achieved another thing in a week. Like, this is a bigger achievement. This feels better in my body than Black Hole. Yeah. because blackall is a thing. The running is a thing that I really love.
Yeah.
Like I love, and I want to keep doing that. But these are the things that now are new passions because they're allowing me to be more regulated and calmer, which is deep down inside.
Yeah.
The new thing that I really like. That's a really big thing that I want.
It's a huge achievement. It's a life achievement when you can regulate yourself.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just think like for the listeners as well, talking around the anxiety around having the chat is worse than having the chat.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about this last night, and I think it's such a huge thing to reflect on for people is you can sit there all day fretting about the difficult conversation, and then you have the conversation and it's like, oh, that wasn't that bad. Sorry, sometimes when I look at the podcaster, I was like, I pressed record on that, and now it's green. I'm sure it should be red when it's recording, but that's okay because we're sweet on the mic, on the camera. I'm glad you don't think about this. That's why I got up and checked the camera. You're just like, we're in flow now. I'm like, oh fuck, I don't know if any of this is working.
Because it always listeners, it takes me 15 or 20 minutes. It takes me about 15 minutes. Usually for the first 15 minutes, I'm quite heady, and then some sort of thing will just drop in. It was today. It was you talking about your mum. So it was that question around, tell me about your diet.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I feel it in my whole body. It all slows because it's almost, I never know where it's going to go. It always goes the way it should, but it's such an interesting. It's a crazy experience doing a podcast. Like, it really is. Yeah. There's an energy that is it's so beautiful and.
It's such a beautiful place to live because we were just talking last night around like the ability to get out of the head and into the body and just into the heart and into flow. Flow state's like one of the most beautiful things as long as you're not detaching from something or avoiding something.
Yeah.
Flow state is just like, I'm just here, I'm present. Yay. Nothing else is ticking over. I think it's beautiful. But yeah, back to the anxiety of the chat is always so much worse than the chat. And yeah, the amount of stuff that Mao was sitting with yesterday was just like, what the fuck? Like, I was just like, oh man, none of that was present for me at all. I feel for you that you had to sit with that.
I was in the pit.
Yeah, I was like, if you had just said that, it would just have been like, cool, here's my hand, get out of the pit, because you don't need to be there. This is irrelevant to life right now.
And this is the beautiful bit. It's like, I want the listeners to know that it's so nice having this, like, and not the only reason, but the main reason that we have this is because we sit opposite each other and allow ourselves to just say everything, tell each other everything. And Jacob knows, I think pretty much a lot of those, the darkest secrets. Some of them I can't remember yet, and they'll come up in time, but every time I get to tell him the stuff, even like, I love it. It's even better when it comes out, and I love to lie to him as well, that I have these cover-ups and I lie, and then it comes out, and just your ability that he just sits there and he goes, like, it is alive for me now, but it's also like, that's the way it comes out, sometimes, or it has come out in the past, and I just love how it goes. It goes so many ways before it gets to the point where I learn.
I think that, and I think that's what I said to you in the message today, is like, sometimes we get so caught up on the journey to like the awareness not being perfect. And it's like, oh, well, I just fucking did that. I shouldn't have done that. And I'm like, who cares? We're here now. Like, that hour ago is gone. And it's brought you a really beautiful awareness right now. How we got there, in the end, doesn't matter. A lot of the time, if you're fucking bashing your partner, or you're taking drugs, or you're in complete toxicity and you don't know how to get out of it, yes, there's some problems with that. But the subtleness of how things are happening for you now in life, it's like, you know, you went to like, I feel really guilty and shameful. And it's like, no, like, fuck,
Yeah.
feel happy.
Yeah.
You became really aware and you've seen that thing that's just come up and it's just slowly crept its way back in again. It's like, okay, I see you. I love you. Come home, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just, we go straight to like shame. And then you felt shame for me for lying. I'm like, you didn't fucking purposely lie.
Yeah.
It was subconscious. And now we're here talking about it, you know? And it's like, well, now it's soft. Cool. You know, softness. Everybody, just
come back to it.
Chill out a little bit. Smoke some weed.
Agreed. Totally.
This isn't for children's content, so I can say that. Smoke some weed in a way that feels right for you.
Yeah.
not to avoid.
Agreed. And have the harder conversation, because it will allow you to.
Here she is.
Good evening.
You sexy, sexy woman.
Oh, thank you.
My wife to be has just walked in the room.
I can hear you can speak, Kay, because it picks you up.
Can you come give me a kiss?
Yeah.
You have to lean over here.
Welcome.
Look at this beauty.
Hello. Welcome. Hey, how are you? Welcome. It's nice to have you.
It's nice to be here.
Do you think that there is so much suffering, and I want to use the word suffering because I believe that there are a lot of people out there suffering right now, like they're really struggling because of their avoidance with with their conversations.
Yeah. I hope it's not demeaning when I laugh about that.
Yeah, no, I actually quite like it because I know that I believe that it's when it drops in and you know exactly where you want to go.
Yeah, because it's the avoidance is like I just said, the anxiety around not doing the things is so much more worse than doing the things. You know, if we map back to like the people doing hard things or the challenges or the initiations, or they're afraid to do those things, it's like sitting with the not doing is so much harder than the initiating challenge that they want to do.
Yeah.
If they could just lean towards that, it's like, oh, this is actually so much easier than the way that I've been living my life right now, you know? And how do we help people understand that?
Yeah.
For the listeners out there, like simply maybe just listening to my words, go do the fucking thing because it's so much easier than not doing it.
Yeah.
That may not land for you, but maybe it will. So maybe that's just part of how we can help guide today, is that every time I just lean in, it's just so much more subtle. And what I want to reflect too is that that's not always true. That's not always going to be true.
Yeah.
The conversation could be worse. It could blow up. But then you start to really realize the relationships you're in.
Yeah.
And are they the relationships that you want to be in? And if other people can't regulate themselves, they can't conversate with you around things, it's like, who are you surrounded by? Starting to become more aware that if you can't honestly speak your truth to someone, and they just like lose it at you, or they can't comprehend, or they don't want to do anything, it's like, well, okay, starting to really register who you need to move out of your life.
Okay.
You know, I think that's really important as well. It's like, we talked last night about I said, what are you fearful of? Conflict. And then there was a whole pathway there onto why that was there.
Yeah.
But we've got this idea of what conflict is, and we've got the idea that if we conflict with someone, then they're going to not be okay and they're going to leave.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
On the other side of that, if you have a conflict with them and they leave, that is also okay.
Yeah.
It's okay for people to leave.
Yeah.
If you have just got the same 10 friends that you've had for the last 20 years and life is grand, great. But if it's not, and they're not building you up, they're not celebrating you, they're not bringing things to you, they're not like conversating openly to you, then it's time to change shit up. I'm going to stab your dog as well.
I know, he's really irritating me right now. To finish up tonight, and I'd love to get, if there's someone listening there right now that's really, really struggling. So they're at home and there's no, and I spoke about the other night about the word purpose, but they can't find happiness. They can't find that they're really in the pit right now, and they're sitting here and they're just thinking like, well, the conversation's well out of my realm.
Yeah.
Therapy's well out of my realm. I can't go and talk to someone. I don't want to do it. Life is it's really, really fucking hard right now. Can you just give them a few maybe tools or things that you believe that can help them just as a starting point?
I think the thing that just came to me when you said that was like, and this may seem harsh, but that's all bullshit.
Yeah.
There are people that care about you.
Yeah.
I would happily talk to any single person on the planet that needed assistance.
Yeah.
And nothing is out of your reach.
Yeah.
If your heart is alive and it's beating,
Yeah.
you have every opportunity to lean in to help.
Yeah.
And it might sound shit and everything might be falling apart, but there are humans here on this planet that are willing to be of service to everybody. So the tool that would be required is you to fucking lean in. To stop sitting in whatever it is you're sitting in, and seek something different.
Yeah.
And you need to take responsibility for that.
Yeah.
There are so many tools, there's so many things out there, so many processes, but it's the piece around leaning in and just like taking your life back.
Yeah.
It's your responsibility and your responsibility only. And once you do that, then things change.
Yeah.
If you got to pull yourself out of the pit.
Yeah.
You got to have people around you as well, but realistically, you got to throw the rope up. You're going to pull your fucking self out of there. Because in the end, that's really all you're going to have, or all you really want. You know, you're going to find love in life. You're going to find friendships. You're going to find all these things that can help you. But you've got to find that drive. You've got to find that power and that essence within you that will be helped with co-regulation and someone assisting you and witnessing you and helping you realize who the fuck you are.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, is like you don't believe in who you are. And we talked about this with you yesterday, and who the fuck you are is that you don't believe or see yourself the way that we see you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can assist you with that, but
Yeah,
in the end, you're going to have to be the one that determines who you are and how you show up.
Yeah.
And once you do that,
Yeah.
watch out well, because it's like we already see the things. So when you believe them, what does that look like?
Yeah.
Because that's a powerful man, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I love that, Jacob. I thought, I had no idea where you were going to go with that, and to me that it felt really, really good in my body around. That's how I feel now, with my journey, and it was me that was the one that walked out of the school at times that I actually can't do this. I need to go and get some help.
Yeah.
And now we're a year later. We're
Technically 6 months. We've celebrated Mao's signing off on the 6 months, and he's signed on to work with me for another 6 months. And it's just like we laughed about it last night, because it was like, I've done 12 sessions with you.
Yeah, I know.
And it's almost comical.
We feel
because of how much you've changed.
I feel like I've done so many sessions, so many. I've got a new thing for our outro today before we go. So I've got 3 words. They're lingo, right? In like the younger teen lingo now. Okay. I'm going to say the word, and then you're going to tell me what you think it means.
And then you're going to tell me what it means?
Yeah, then I'll tell you what it means. So the word is Riz. Okay, and I'll put it in a sentence for you so you can have it. Hey, Jacob, you're going to get your Riz on tonight.
Well, to me, it feels like a personality, like a vibrance of something, or maybe what I'm going to wear.
So
I'm going to get my Riz on.
Yeah. You got good Riz. You've got good Riz. Yeah. So it's basically like sexual attraction.
Yeah, that was other.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that, because I'm just in love and I don't care. I don't care about the Riz.
All right, number 2, zesty. Okay, just.
I'm going to say like. Yeah, okay, go the
Yeah, I'll give you the sentence.
Can I? No, I reckon I've got this.
Jacob, you're super zesty.
Yeah, like fiery, like
lively,
bitchy little fucking like. Ooh, you're a bit zesty today. Settle down, champ.
Lively, yeah. Okay, giving, as in, Jacob, you're giving. This is good too, because it's like, am I giving a present? Yeah, that's what the kids say to me in class. They're like, "Oh, Mr. M, you're giving," and I'm like, "What do you mean? I'm giving you anything?" But
I feel like it's almost too much. Like you're too much. Like stop fucking giving. Shut the fuck up.
It's
Well, you're
mean-
giving a lot.
It means that you've got a good aura or you're vibey.
I am giving.
It's cool, man.
Yeah.
Hey, they always say they rock in. They're like, oh, it's zesty, Mr. M, and I'm like, yeah, I am zesty. But then there's another one. I looked on the slang thing about zesty, and it means like a guy that I think it's a male that likes to dress in women's clothes
Oh,
too.
yeah. I'm a bit
So I'm
zesty.
like, I'm a bit zesty too.
Yeah, we did a photo shoot and we love dressing
Yeah,
up. in
we
girls.
did. So yeah, I'm gonna hold this one at the moment. I wanna get a few words
Alright,
each
sweet.
time for an outro so we can have a giggle.
Oh, I can bring some too. That'll be good.
Amazing. On a side note, tonight, if you've listened and you are really in the pit right now, please reach out. There's heaps of helplines there that you can call straight away as a starting point. Jacob and I'm happily, please DM me or DM Jacob.
Yeah.
And I will give you my phone number straight away to have a yarn if you're if you
If you feel like you just can't get out.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, please.
Because knowing that if you ask for the number, you're already on your way out.
Yeah, 100%. That's the first bit.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back in a fortnight.
We will.
Peace.
I hope.
Love you.
Love you. That was really good.